Hey guys, hope you're having a good night. It's Saturday, still, at least where I'm at. No, sorry, December 14th, and we just opened up a new candle. So what I want to do is take a look at a couple things here. Just kind of take a look and see what the market looks like. I'm going to start looking at Bitcoin. I do want to take a look at our good friend VeChain, or sorry, yes, VeChain. I want to take a look at Chainlink. Just take a look at a few different things here and just kind of see what the market looks like, if it looks good, if it looks bad, how ugly it looks, and just to kind of get a good pulse on how things are looking. So before we get started, of course, as you know, I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades. This is just my opinion on the market, and you should use this just for educational purposes only. Okay, so what I do want to start with, of course, I want to take a look at Bitcoin. I do actually think that we're bottoming here, and an invalidation would be right below this line, which I've had this line on here for a while, which is just shy of 7,000. We hit 7,000 pretty much right on the nose earlier today, and this pivot is pretty important for us. So we've got lots of support here in this area, and we're hitting it again. We previously had a good reaction off of it, and then a good rally off of that as well. And as of right now, we're sitting back down here at this level, and it's a pretty important level for us to hold. I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of explanations on things here. I'm just here to take a look at this and kind of just do a hit and run on Bitcoin, and then move on to the next thing. We are basically sitting right at the 618, which is right here at 70.33. And we need to have defense here. If we don't get defense here, then we've got some problems. So we really can't violate 7,000. We can't close like a 1, 2, 3 hour candle below 7,000, especially a 3 hour candle. If we close a 3 hour below 7,000, things are just not going to be good for us. Taking a look at higher time frames, a daily time frame. Let's just take a real quick look at this. We've got a fresh sell signal on the algo on the daily that's popping in here. But of course, this day is just started, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. You can't take a day signal that's only 47 minutes into the day. You've got 23 hours left. We've got some important levels to hold. If we want to turn bullish, we need to start flipping above 71.60 or so, in order for us to see any amount of bullish sentiment here. Right now, I am leaning bearish. This channel pretty much has been completely invalidated, and that's okay. That's all right. It could just be that it just needs to be readjusted because we don't have another touch up here on the top yet. So it still remains to be seen. This pivot, of course, has moved, and it does look like we want to move down. In which case, still looking, and again, this is something again I've been talking about for a long time down here, this 5,800 level. I would expect there to be support here again at about 6,500. Of course, we came down this low. It would not surprise me one bit for us to come down to 6,000. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. So just be careful because it is possible that we do see a move to the downside here, and a move to the downside from right where we are down to even the 5,800 level. That's an 18% drop in Bitcoin from where we currently are. If we only drop to 64, 6,500, it's still 7%, almost 8%. So we're still looking at about a 7% to an 18% drop from where we currently are. And this could take a day, this could take a week. I had projected that we were coming out here around Christmas time. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens. So that's kind of my thought on Bitcoin right now. Let's take a look at some of the other charts here and take a look at Chainlink versus Tether. We've been watching this for a long time, and Bitcoin has turned bearish, so this trade is stopped out. I'm going to go ahead and remove it from here. We're coming down to the 713, which is something that I do kind of pay attention to here. We talked a little bit about the 713 on one of my previous videos, and we're sitting here touching it again. But what I will say, and I'm going to move to a lower time frame here, I'm going to move down to a 2 hour just to kind of show you this. It's not looking very good. It's not looking very good. We had our support here, and it was holding, and then it just broke down. And so, our next area of support, which has already become resistance, is right here at about $2.01. Now we're below $2. We're trading below $2. We're only 50 minutes into this 2-hour candle, but it just does not look very good at all. We're coming down here and retesting this support cluster that we had previously. Moving back out to a 4-hour time frame, just taking a look at all of this, all of our major moving averages have crossed bearish again, and this happened a while back on the 4-hour time frame. And we're trying to find that support here at $1.95, and if we don't hold $1.95, then I do think the probability is pretty high that we're gonna talk about coming back down here and testing the bottom of this channel. And I know a lot of you are going to get pretty discouraged when I say that it is possible that we come back down to $1.20, $1. It's possible that we come back down to 80 cents. It's hard for me to be extremely bullish, but at the same time, the charts are looking pretty bearish right now. We're here at the median line though. So, selling the median line after we've already come down so far, it would be very difficult to sell here and then watch the price recover. I would say that if we do break below about $1.95 on maybe a 3 or a 4-hour time frame, then the chances are pretty good we're going to come down to $1.83, maybe $1.46. That would just be crazy. We have a crazy amount of support here. I'm going to remove the algo so that we don't have that in our way. We've got a good cluster, lots of support that's here. And if I put a volume profile on here, you probably would see that this is a pretty important level for us to hold. So, in this general area, and of course we've got the median right here as well at about $1. We'll call it $1.75 just for good measure. So, somewhere between $1.50 and $2, with $1.75 being sort of our median here, I think that there is a significant amount of support that we need to see there, and we really need to see a spring out of this. What we saw over here, we saw some consolidation, which insinuated that it was going to go lower, which it did, and then we saw a good reaction out of that. And when we went back down, we had a good reaction out of it. Okay, so very similar. We had up here, we had some consolidation. We moved down. We had a decent reaction out of it, but it just rolled over. So it's kind of a fractal compared to what we're seeing right here. We had the sideways movement. Let me just outline this so that we can see this here. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. So we have our sideways movement here, just like we had some sideways movement here. And then we had a push down and then a bullish reaction. And I'm going to change the color on this. I'm going to change this to yellow. And then the same thing here. We had our push down and a bullish reaction out of it. And so now what we're seeing is we're seeing this move down, and what we need to see is another larger bullish movement out. So this is going to be, I'm going to change this to pink. So not saying this is what is going to happen, but what we do need to see is we need to see the price come right up out of this. So we need to see from down here, we need to see a movement back up to about 225 to 230. We have to see that happen. If we're looking at this as a fractal, sometimes I like to give a little bit of merit to fractals, but in this case, there is a chance, there is some probability that's going to happen. If we take a look at our stochastics right now, I'm on a 12-hour time frame, and let me pop down to an hourly so we can kind of take a look at this from a lower time frame. The hourly is showing that we are bottoming. And once our stokes pop on here, let's just take a real quick look at this. So on the 2-hour, we are getting a little bit of bullish divergence. The hourly has already seen bullish divergence. The 12-hour looks awful. The 6-hour looks like it is reaching a bottom, to be fair. It does look like the 6-hour is getting ready to come down. And the 6-hour is this cyan line that we see here. This is our stochastic. We've got the 4-hour, which is kind of, indecisive, but definitely the 6-hour is in a downtrend and it's close to the bottom. So I would say we're probably going to curl out of this. The hourly, again, I do see some bullish divergence based on this low here compared to the low where we're currently at. I do think there is some merit to that. So again, I don't want to be extremely bearish, but I do want to recognize that if we break this level at about $1.95, we are probably going to go down a little bit lower. What's up, William? Thanks for joining in with me tonight. I want to take a look at VeChain. I want to take a look at this, and I want to see what the chart looks like, because it doesn't look very good. But yet again, we do look like we are bottoming here, to be fair. And when this indicator turns green like it just did in this particular hourly candle, that means the hourly and the 3-hour are both in oversold conditions, and more than likely it is going to be bottoming out. Again, closer look at the stochastics. We have our hourly that bottomed out here, and we really don't have good bullish divergence on this, but we do have the hourly and the 3-hour both in oversold conditions. The last time we had a bullish swing out of this, the 3-hour was all the way up here in sort of neutral zone. But then here recently, we've got both the 3-hour and the hour all the way down here. So, it leads me to believe that probably out of the two that we just looked at between Chainlink and VeChain, I think VeChain has the better odds of pushing out of here. We really have to push out of this. And again, we talked in the last video. Let me remove some of this garbage that we've got here on the chart. We talked in the last video about head and shoulders patterns, and I made sure to outline what we saw. We saw a shoulder, a potential head, although it's not very symmetrical, and then we had another shoulder, and we had a pretty clear neckline on this as well. And so let's just outline this. What I'm doing here, I'm just freehanding a head and shoulders pattern. And really our target to buy would be right down here. So if we do break below 5,000, I would say we likely are going to come back down here to 4,600 like what we were discussing previously. But I think that that's also an area that a lot of people are interested in buying at because it is going to be a double bottom down here. This area is going to have a lot of support, I would imagine. So we're either going to, go down and spring out of it, or we're not going to hit it at all. And with the stochastics, the way that they are, I do have to have a little bit of a bullish sentiment, and I could be completely wrong there because that's the art of trading is being right and being wrong and seeing your probability. So I would say a move down to about 5,100 to 5,200 is probably a place where it's likely going to swing. And if it breaks 5,100, I would say cut losses about 5,000. That's kind of what I would think for that. Because again, if it does break that 5,000 level, it is more than likely going to find its way coming down here to where we were outlining this at, this goes all the way down as far as 4,350, as high as about 4,600. So that general area. And of course, if this breaks, we're coming down to the bottom of this channel. We're talking about like 3,500, which is crazy to think of. So I would say that more than likely we're going to have a little bit of a push out of here. It's likely going to take some time. So if we come down here and then we see this move up like this, we start flipping support and resistance levels, that would be ideal. So yeah, definitely a lot of people are interested at 4,500 if it gets down that low. But I would say with the divergence and with the stochastics the way that they are, if these things start curling up, I would say that we are in for a pretty significant move to the upside. We'll kind of take it as we go. Of course, we have lots of support and resistance levels to to break through, and we've been talking about some of these levels for a while. We had this level right here, which we broke through yesterday, as a bearish breakthrough at about 5,800. We were talking about, this area right here needing to hold, and of course that did not work out, and then it became resistance. So this was our support level right here at 6,000, and then it became resistance. The price came back up to it, and that was our bearish retest. Then we rolled over and failed. Now we're having another bearish retest, and we rolled over. So if we fail and we aren't able to reclaim 5,400, then things are pretty bearish for VeChain. So, in my opinion, I'm not going to take a trade on VeChain until we start reclaiming support and resistance levels. Once we reclaim at this point 5,400, I say that this is a good area to buy into a position. But right now, you're just trying to catch a falling knife, and it's very dangerous doing that because if we consolidate here, more than likely we're going to fall. So again, if we start to do a little bit something like this, if we start just doing a little bit of this, we are more than likely going to fall, and we're going to go down to our next level. And then we're going to have a whole new area right here, which is going to be, at about 5,400. That's going to be our new resistance. That's going to be our new resistance because it was our support. And then if we were just consolidate over here, this is going to be our new resistance because we can't work our way through it. So that's what I've got on VeChain. Let's take a look at Ethereum. What does Ethereum look like? I haven't looked at Ethereum, to be quite honest, in a long time, and it does look very different than Bitcoin. There are some interesting relations to Ethereum, and this is definitely not a completed correction. This is more or less maybe let's see here. we had 5 waves up is the A, and then the B is coming down. We're sitting right down here on the 786, and this is, to be fair, this is on the entire move up. So just consider Bitcoin bottoming out at 3125, topping out at 13,900, and then coming back 78.6%. Just think about that, because that is possible. That is something that Bitcoin can do. But right now in Ethereum, we have our resistance level, which is, basically sitting right at about 157. And our support zone, we've got a good support cluster right here at 140.250. And this support cluster is from right here right at the 786, and you can see it. We've got lots of support that's coming from this level right here. This is right before Bitcoin broke 4,000. So just think about it that way also. Think about Bitcoin was at 3,900, 4,000 right here, and then Ethereum, being all the way back. It's just like Bitcoin being right back at 4,000. Now, obviously that hasn't happened because of the dynamics of your trifecta of your Bitcoin trading pair, the USD trading pair, and and then Bitcoin versus Ethereum as well. It's not necessarily 100% related, but this is sort of an idea of what may be in our future, because right now Bitcoin is pretty much sitting, right around right here. And so, again, we might have this move down and a massive move up, but we have to watch out because of the bearish pattern that we're in. We could just move right back down, and then we could, start a little bit of a capitulation phase. You could say this was a little bit of capitulation, but it didn't have any bullish follow through. And that is something that we are lacking in this market. We are lacking a lot of bullish follow through. We're seeing a lot of decent rallies, but then, the selling just continues. The selling continues. So again, we have to be very careful for things like this. Let me move down to an hourly time frame and just take a look at our current stochastics. We've got a move down to the bottom, and then we've got this move right up here, and let's just see where we're at in relation to fib levels. We're right down here at the 713 again. Here's one more time that we're coming back down to this level here, and we haven't penetrated that low yet. But again, if we break down below about 139.50, 139.25, then I would say pretty much we're going to be heading back down below, probably below 130. I would say below 130 is very likely, and with the level that we're currently at, again moving back to a 12-hour time frame, with the level that we're currently at here, with it being the 786 at 141.75, if we break down below this, our last area of defense is going to be the 887, and I haven't looked at the 887 in a long time because we really just haven't really gotten there. So let's just take a look at what the 887 looks like. 88.7, which I'll highlight in purple or magenta. That is going to be sitting right at what is that, $113. $113. So think about that in terms of percentage moves from where we're currently sitting. So that is pretty significant. If we were to make that move down, we're talking about another 20% drop in Ethereum. So, you could be trying to catch this, but unless we start overtaking, in this case, I'm interested in Ethereum breaking 145. Once we break 145, I'm interested in breaking 152. So that level right through here is something that I am interested in us breaking through, because this is going to be major resistance on its way up. If we can break through that, then I do think that we have some potential for more significant upside. But right now, this is our bearish cluster that we are failing currently. So we had an attempt to break through it. I don't know if that was yesterday or the day before. And we weren't able to push through it. We weren't able to crush through it. We're still being governed. You can tell here we're being governed by the 21 exponential on the 12-hour chart. Once we try and break through it, we constantly fail. If we go down to the 4-hour chart, let's see what the stochastics look like there. We've got the 55 exponential, and then of course we had a retest of the 100 exponential. They're all failing. So 3-hour time frame, last one here. This is going to be the 100 exponential and the 3-hour that is basically suppressing the price of Ethereum. So I do have to have a bit of a bearish bias. However, if we do start retaking some of these, then that would be good. I'm going to take this opportunity to just kind of give you a window into my mind on how I consider this market to be bearish and bullish, and whether or not I actually take trades based on some of this this market psychology. you know, right now I have a bearish bias. That doesn't mean that I can't flip, you know, just in the, you know, just in one price action can make me flip from bearish to bullish pretty quick. And again, when I make these videos, I try and outline the bearish scenario and also what it would take to make me flip. What would it take to make me bullish on an asset again when I am currently bearish? Well, in this case, we have a bearish retrace up here at about 145.50, and then we have failed that. Again, if we break down below 140, then I think we go further because that has been our support down here. So let's just take a look at this. So we've got basically the support that we're sitting on right now, and you can see very clearly that we have, you know, a decent support here, decent support here. You could say this is a capitulation candle that, or not candle, but a capitulation phase that worked its way through and had a bullish, you know, bullish outcome out of it. We tested it again. So this is our support, but we have tested this so many times. So I'm saying if we break below 140, then we're probably going to be going to our next level, which we outlined was, what did I say about it, 131 or so? No, not 131. My apologies, 113. And then for me to flip bullish, we need to reclaim. So we need to close like a 3 or a 4 hour candle above 145.50, 146 in that range. We need to come back up and consolidate in here. For me to be bullish, I need to see something like this, move up, and then that would be my, you know, my indication that we are going to be starting to turn bullish a little bit. And then I'm going to be looking for this level to break. But if we do move up above 145, 146, I would say that it's probably okay to buy back in at that point. You have a clear line of your stop loss. Because again, if we break below 145 on like a 2 or 3 hour candle, then we're going to be heading back down. But in my opinion, buying right here is riskier than buying up here. You're literally trying to pull, you know, what is this? Let's see here. You're literally trying to pull 3.73% out of the market by risking buying down here when it's much safer to be buying a flip of resistance turn support. And that's where the money is to be made. You're not going to catch the bottom every time. You're not going to sell the top every time. You know, if you can get yourself, you know, 60 to 70% of the move, you're going to win. You're going to win. So I'm simply saying that, you know, we break 140, I say we go lower. If we close above 145, I say we go higher. We're in a $5 range, folks. It's not worth it to, you know, to risk buying down here. Wait for us to come up, because if we roll down again, we're looking at like 113, which is a significant move down from where we currently are. All right. Let's see here. While we're at it, let's go ahead and take a look at Ripple. Good old Ripple. Oh boy, Ripple. I'm just going to completely blow away this chart. Ripple, we have been basically failing support and resistance, support and resistance, support and resistance over and over and over. And what this basically looks like we had a double top, and it looks like it is going to roll lower. You know, what I can see from right here, we've got a little bit of a pennant here, and this is not a pennant that you want to see. I'm going to disregard this this wick down here, but what this is showing me, you know, we have, you know, A, B, C, D, E, so this would be sort of maybe the top. We might come back up to about 22.8, 23 cents. We might come back up there and retest the 200 simple moving average, which we haven't done on the 4-hour time frame in quite a while. Actually, in this entire move down, we haven't done it at all. We did have a bullish test of it, right? So we had capitulation, went right back up into here until we finally broke below that 200 simple moving average. As soon as we broke below this in a significant way, and I'm not talking about price action right at the 200. I'm talking about we had price action well below it. You know, we haven't tested it again. So, you know, at some point we will. We talk about mean reversion every now and again. But, you know, nonetheless, that's still sitting up there at about 23, 24 cents. Sorry, that's not 20, and that's not anywhere close to 24 cents, about 23.4 cents. So it's possible for us to come back up there, in which case this would probably not be a pennant. This would look more like a channel. So we would be looking at this down here, and then this about like that. and then we'd be looking at a channel a little bit like this if we do come back up here. Very possible that happens. And if Bitcoin is bottoming, that would lead me to believe that a lot of the tethered trading pairs are probably going to be on an upswing. Let's just take a look at our stochastics, and then we'll go ahead and end the video. And of course, next time, I would like to take a look at some things for you guys if you have any suggestions. But here, let's just yeah, you know what? This does not look very constructive for a move to the upside. We have our 2-hour that's still moving down. The 1-hour bounced, which we would expect that because it's a shorter time frame. The 6-hour has rolled over. The 12-hour is the only hope that we have. The longer the time frame, the stronger the trend. And in this case, the 12-hour is still moving down, but it is getting lower. Right now, it's sitting here at about 33, and would be nice to see this come back down to about 25. As you can see, with the settings that I have on my stochastic, it's very difficult for these things to go below 25. It happens every now and again, as you can see, things come down here into this purple zone, but it just doesn't happen very often. So if the 12-hour gets down there, and really the 12 hours you can see, and we're looking at this red stochastic here. Let me go ahead and remove some of these and put the signal line on here and remove this, take off the RSI. Let's just take a look at the 12-hour. So, as we can see here, the 12-hour comes down, bounces, came down not as much, bounces, came down not as much, and now we're coming back down. And again, we're sitting right here at 33, so it is very possible. The last time it was this low, it was back here where it came down to about 26, and then it started to bounce. And again, if we take a look at this from this time frame, this is when we had our lowest point, we bounced, and then we came down not as much, but we were very low. And then we're coming down not as much. So, it is possible for us to see even more bullish divergence. I really wouldn't like to see Ripple break through this trend line that we've got here. I really would like to see it above this. If we close below this, then I would say more than likely we're probably going to come back to about 20, 21 cents. If we break 20, 21 cents, we're going to come back down to 20 cents. 20 cents is going to be pretty strong. Go to a 12-hour time frame, zoom out quite a bit. You can see this is Ripple versus Tether, which has been live since 2018 on this particular exchange, which is Binance. So yeah, we're basically down at the lows. Let me just take a look at Ripple and Poloniex here, and then we'll go ahead and finish thing up, because Poloniex has the longest history on the Tether trading pair. I'm going to move down to a weekly time frame. And I'm going to go to logarithmic so we can see this a little clearer. You can see right where we're at right now, probably our next support is going to be at about 14 and a half cents. Very possible. It's very clear that what we had was a little bit of a triangle right here. For this to break itself up to its new highs, we had basically from down here, we had our first wave, and then we had our second wave, 3, 4, and then we went 5, and then we've got to do a 1, and then more likely a 2, and then we've got to do a 3 on a correction. And I do hate to say it, because I do like to be somewhat bullish on this, but if we're going to retrace this entire move, let me put this up here, and then we'll put this on, let's see here, move that back up there. I'm going to do this on the log scale instead of on the linear scale. We're sitting right at the 382. More than likely, this gosh, I hate to say it, because I am a bit bullish on Ripple, but it is possible if this level breaks at 20, basically at 20 cents. If that breaks, more than likely we probably are coming back to about 10 cents. That's a 50% move down from where we currently are. So this 20 cents really does have to hold. And again, if it doesn't, we've got bigger problems. So we'll keep an eye on this. I am keeping an eye on this, and if we break 20 cents, I will probably move all of my Ripple back to an exchange and start trading that and accumulating that a little bit more than what I have been. All right. Well, again, thanks for joining. I hope this was helpful. Probably will start doing this on Saturday evenings. Throughout the week, I do, just individual videos, but on Saturdays, it's hard to organize things, so it's easier to just do just one video where I do a whole bunch of different things all at once. But of course, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And yeah, and again, if you're not a member of the Discord, it doesn't cost anything. Just shoot me an invite, and I will get you. I'll get you an invite to be able to join in. Just throw in a comment here in the chat, and I'll get that for you. But wherever you are in the world, hopefully you're having a good day, a good night, or a good evening.